So on that, there was a time recently where some private sales were put onto realestate.com. I'm not sure whether you're aware of that or not, but where are you going with that?
We today, look, over the last 20 years, the number of private sales as a percentage of total market has been less than 1%. If private sales come onto our site, we politely say, I'm sorry, that's actually not our model. So we don't support private sales in this country. We do in Italy, but that's culturally the way they do it. So we, at this particular point in time, but we've said to the agents, whether private selling takes off is actually up to you, not us. Because if people step to private sale, it means that the real estate agents
not delivering the
are not delivering value.
Absolutely agree.
So we do not and will not facilitate or push to private selling. But if the market moves to private selling, we'll have no choice to follow.
You'll service it.
But our job today is to do the best possible thing by the agent. I think that it's very unlikely, because when you look at commission rates that people pay for selling property in this country,
it's a fraction.
It's a fraction of what you pay. So when people make the decision, do I really want to go through the hassle of private selling or not? One of the things that we do think is an interesting opportunity for the agent world is the rent roll. Our stats say about 40% of landlords don't use real estate agent property management services, which we think is crazy, because they can reduce that fee by 30 or 50% on their tax.
Yep.
So one of the things that we are considering doing with the industry's agreement is that if you're a rental landlord and you're not currently using a real estate agent, we'll allow you to promote your property, but you've got to agree to be marketed to by the real estate agents. There's an opportunity for you to go and upsell the property management services.
Right, so you can sell that list.
Correct.
Right.
So you can build, because that's what real estate agents are valued on.
Yep.
But we will not go into the private selling sale market.
Right, okay. Now the buyers that register on your system, we don't know who they are, right? Will that ever change?
If the person registering wants to be made known, then the answer is yes.
So is that in the process of registering, whether they click that or not?
Correct.
It is.
Well, not today, but where we're going with that model is to say now, are you ready for the real estate agent to know who you are? So our model is not to predict, our model is to facilitate.
So when will those changes come through?
Probably early FY11. There's quite a degree of technical.
That's right.
That's a really big management exercise. So we take our brand really seriously, and our brand integrity and our brand health. We're respected on the consumer side, and we will do absolutely nothing to upset our audience.
Right. So will you drive revenue from that? So in others, would we be buying as agents those names?
No. Our model is really that the monetisation of that will be by the real estate agents buying the depth products. So we won't be selling the list.
But you'd be selling the access to people who tick that box.
We'll be saying to you, there's 50 people who are interested in this particular property.
Because Greg, by the way, when you say you're selling the industry, that means you're actually selling the consumer, because it all ends up.
Well, the person who'll be paying ultimately is either the agent or the vendor.
Right. Yeah.
So the monetisation is on that side.
Yes.
The consumer is the audience that we sell against.
Right. Okay.
So we're not going to be selling a mailing list of consumers.
Right.
We'll be saying to the real estate agent on behalf of the vendor, there's 20 people who are interested in this property. 10 of them are prepared to have an online conversation with you, that is to say who they are.
Yeah.
Now, the way in which we'll provide access to that audience is by the package.
Right. Now, and so some of this discussion is a bit internal and not so much for the consumer, but I think it's going to be of interest to the consumer. So, so the click-throughs, in the early days, well before your time, when realestate.com first started, we as a company were able to get a click-through from the first entry of the property to our website.
Right.
Right. Then they cancelled all that, and they put the fees up. And I've no problem with that, because it was an emerging industry and it's a maturing industry. So this is not a silky la-la thing.
Right.
But where's your thinking going in terms of, because then I want to have a very quick discussion about the differences between your website and ours.
Right.
So let's answer the first one. So will it be possible for us to get a click-through early in the presentation back to our website at some point, or is that not on the radar?
No, today, for example, on some of our listings is that you can click on the website from about 2 clicks through. What we've found is that, and we are focused on the consumer for the audience appeal,
Right.
and that being is that the consumer today says, I'll tell you when I'm ready to click out, and I want to stay in that environment and do more in
Right.
realestate.com.au and do more in compare and contrasting.
Right.
So either I want to know how many listings there are. If I choose to click out to an agent, then I'll do that, and they actually can do that from our site today. What we generally find is consumers really like to stay in realestate.com.au, make their final selections of the 2 or 3 properties they're interested in, and then contact the agent.
Right. Okay.
So it's a contact mechanism. They're not particularly interested, to be honest, in actually going to the real estate agent's website.